It's Monday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hi, Tokwe, how are you?
I'm good. So over the last week, I rejigged my compensation plan. I went for a program 2 weeks ago, and my husband and my driver, everybody noted that there was a particular real estate company that everybody was driving their car branded by them. And during the training, I found out that the cars were gifts to their realtors, and their realtors attended the same training with us. So I was just telling my friend. My friend was like, go and sell for them now, I'll let you two collect. I said, no, I want to give away cars. Yeah. So I had to sit down and work on my numbers. How can I give away cars for those that sell? And I found a solution. So if you're looking for a car, you're willing to sell real estate, come. Our Easter bonanza, we want to give away cars.
Me too.
And I give away cars. Like I had to do the numbers. Yes. So I can guarantee that if you sell this particular number of land, I will give you a car.
Please, I'm coming.
We're coming,
so
please.
I feel very, very happy.
Please let me sign my name. Where's the list? Where's the sign? I'm fine. I had a restful weekend.
You look
after
refreshed.
a very long time. And so, you know, for a bit now, I've been complaining that I've been like a single mother because my husband is hardly ever around. Oh. I now know how much diesel costs, how much petrol costs.
People don't concern you before.
Why didn't you put on the It was really overwhelming. Yeah, Nigerian men that do the work.
Yeah,
well done.
Well done.
Yeah. Well done. So for all of my hard work, I was sort of compensated.
Oh.
My kids were warned, don't talk to mommy this weekend. If you need anything, ask me. This is her time. So,
happy time, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand.
busy.
Yeah, fine. We really need to be appreciating men that are doing the work, because if you handle that stress alone for a few weeks, a few months, you understand how it is. But I had a restful weekend. We went swimming, and by the time we got there, they said the pool was, they were cleaning the pool, so we couldn't have access. My son was frowning, so we had to compensate him. Went to see the movies, went to restaurants, ate something, and just got home. Just family, yes. We're all together this weekend. Nobody went anywhere. Nobody did any extra work. We're just indoors having fun.
Fantastic. That's
How was
good.
your weekend, Mariah?
We saw you.
I saw you.
Looking very beautiful.
Gallivanting
Nobody should
beautifully.
take our makeup artist though. She was looking, that makeup was really nice.
Yeah,
it
it
was
nice.
It was
but,
cool.
You have to stick to the winning formula. But yeah, so Friday was great. Saturday was nice. Sunday was fantastic.
I don't have to give us gist.
Okay, Saturday I went for a birthday party.
Yes.
Pastor Daniel Adebola was 50 years old. So it was at Teklo. We had a great time. Many church members were there. It was fun, hanging out, a great time. His wife invited us. Thank you very much. She did a fantastic job. And yesterday was Femi's friend's wife. So my husband's friend's wife's 40th birthday. Like Yellow Chili was really nice. I didn't know that Yellow Chili had that.
You have this, it's a new place. I think it was
really?
last year.
It was
very
really
beautiful.
cozy, very cozy. So I think it's a nice place. So we can go there to hang out for your birthday. You know?
Okay, all right.
Nice,
oh, the girls are taking me out.
Yeah. I think let me see. My 27th is free. God help me. It's a weekday, right? Or it's a weekend?
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
Keep that date open. You are the one who's steaming this time
Look at this
around.
one. Let's go to break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're starting with the nation. APC chair pressure mounts on Buhari to drop Adamu. IMF to help Nigeria, others on debt and tax. Man laments 720 naira to the litre diesel price as aviation fuel also hits 600 naira to the litre. General Overseer arrested with drugs at Lagos Airport. PDP does not belong to Wiki, says Obaseki. Russia-Ukraine war a threat to Nigeria's food security. INEC should not meddle in party affairs, says Olawepo Hashim. And 2023, PDP opens affection talks with ex-governors, senators, and reps. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me start with this Kenya-bound pastor. His name is Ekwem. Reverend Ugochukwu Emmanuel Ekrem. He is the General Overseer of Christ Living Hope Church. He was arrested by NDLEA when he was found with 54 sticks of cannabis wrapped around his body. He said he was going on a crusade and he had planned to use the cannabis when he gets there. shocking. I mean, what would the church members say? To see their whole general overseer, his picture is there, general overseer with arrested by NDLEA. Now it's not bad guys do it. Everybody is doing it until your court. NDLEA also gave a breakdown of some of the arrests that they made. They said March 7th, they arrested another person who had arrived with cocaine, 40 parcels of cocaine concealed inside bottles of body cream. And there was another 3 days later, Mr. Edo Blessing, who had brought in over 2,000 tablets of tramadol. I mean, with all this arrest, you would think some people would just stop this line of business or whatever it is, but they are quite bold.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So the President Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Michael Olawale Cole, has said that the festering war between Russia and Ukraine will likely affect our food supply. They said in 2021, we had been getting wheat from Russia. I think 27% of wheat from Russia in 2021, about 4% of wheat from Ukraine in 2021. And they are like the largest supplier of wheat around the world. And now that this war is lingering, we may not be able to get wheat. So the advice now is that if there's any way that the federal government will open up the reserves, peradventure we have any form of reserves where we have kept wheat, it's time to open it up so that we can have access to it, and also ensure that we encourage local manufacturers at least to be able to serve our local needs in the time being for wheat. I would advise if we can do without the wheat, must we eat
commercial level.
Yeah.
I thought we
It's not enough. We don't have it. Yeah, we have wheat, but we don't have
consumption.
Enough for local consumption.
Okay, so I'm going to take the major headlines. So, unfortunately, our president who went to the UK to rest, they're not allowing him to rest because various factions are coming to see him. So his friends from the CPC, they call themselves the Inner Caucus Strategists. And leaders of the CPC have gone to go and appeal to him to allow Buni to come back, at least to chair the party until their convention is coming up. While another caucus, which is led by Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State, is trying to insist on against having Buni. Remember, there's a faction against Al-Makura, who is the ex-National State governor, for being the chair of the convention for the party actually. So there's a lot of back and forth, negotiating, lobbying. We don't know yet, but it's looking like Buni might take leadership come Wednesday, since it seems like there's no clear-cut direction from the president. But they are saying that they shall allow the convention to make it sacrosanct on March 26th, which is the date that we set for the convention, to see who will become the chairman. But at this point, Nigerians are just tired of this back and forth.
So there's a lot of political tension, and we all know it's built up towards 2023, because the story I was taking about, it's about PDP and the crisis between Governor of Rivers State in Wike and Governor of Edo State replying to Governor of Rivers State, that the back and forth between the governor and the speech the Governor of Rivers State's Wike made concerning the Deputy Governor of Edo State is very wrong, and that even though they defected, they haven't been integrated properly into PDP. And the Governor of Edo State was saying he knows that the Governor of Rivers State, Wike, is trying to contest for presidency, but that he shouldn't use whatever he wants to do shouldn't affect other party structures. Same thing within APC as well, where an aspirant is saying INEC should not. It's just all politics, and I feel that our strength of our politics must start from inside the parties. So we must strengthen the internal party democracy so that we have viable candidates to now vote into different offices, because these two parties need to get it right.
Talking about parties, I mean, let me just move on. The Punch. Buni may head APC convention uncertainty surrounds zoning. General Overseer heading for Kenya Crusade arrested with cannabis. Talked about that earlier. Bakers threatened shutdown as diesel price orders soar. I fled Arabic school for fear of cane, says Obasanjo. Amotekun arrest Lagos-based businessman, 7 others for robbery and rape. Government attack, abduct Punch reporters, steal phones and empty accounts. Talks with Labour on fuel subsidy removal ongoing, says federal government. Gencos disagree with TCN over outages, blame weak transmission. And NDLA traces 4.2 billion naira to Abba Kyari co-accused accounts. Okay, which stories are we taking?
On a lighter note, so the former president Olusegun Obasanjo on Sunday, while he was at Abeokuta during the inauguration and turbaning of Sheikh Salis Adenakan, explained that he was out of fear of Koboko, made him abandon Arabic school. But nevertheless, so he still knows all the songs that they are singing there. And he was advising that every religious person must believe and strive for Al-Jannah. That's the paradise. That if you, Al-Jannah, if you believe in it, that means you will take your religious practices seriously. And he went ahead and said some other things.
All right, so I was going to take fuel subsidy. Right, so the NNPC is saying that, listen, they have to have a conversation with Labour. Because the truth is that this, the World Bank projection that they'll be spending about 4 trillion naira on petrol subsidy in 2022, this is this year. All marketers also stated that that might actually rise to 6 trillion naira in 2022 because of the increase in crude over the world. And what that just simply means is that we're going to be paying much more subsidy. So as great as it is that we're also happy that the cost is going higher to bring in more money, but guess what? You're paying more money to these guys. So the point is that NNPC that is an explosive conversation, but they have to continue to engage, and they will continue to engage at Labour on this matter because
I'm sort of supporting Labour. Have you seen what's happening with diesel?
It's in the Labour House because it's Labour that is Nigerians that caused the increase.
No, but as diesel price has gone up, if we leave petrol to free market, we'll be buying petrol for like 1,000 naira on the streets of Lagos very soon.
No, but it fluctuates.
So they should continue to pay subsidy, what you're saying?
We know the reason
why
Nigerians
like to have this two-side market.
We need to pick a side.
No, we don't.
I've always said it.
We always say, like, property is expensive. And that's like,
the market forces will determine.
Long-term solution, we take it out. Honestly, I agree.
Knock off the subsidy.
They're going to be paying over 400 naira per litre as subsidy.
Wow.
Yes, according to the statistics.
Anyway,
and we may borrow
really
more.
bad.
It's horrible.
It's really bad.
Why don't you just do things without petrol?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start walking to your house or walking to your office.
We should,
It's simple.
Yeah, true.
I'll just stop using a car.
We don't sleep with a generator.
Thank God there's
now.
virtual meetings now. I don't have to come to your office.
Yes.
Another issue that we cannot easily resolve and seem to be affecting many lives is ASU. And currently the ASU, and they're supposed to have a negotiation. There's a committee that has been set up to renegotiate the implementation of the 2009 agreement. And now the Ministry of Education is saying that we cannot have a gunpoint negotiation. If ASU is on strike, and that is the basis of the negotiation, then it's not going to be a favorable. It won't be an easy negotiation to carry out. That they would like the ASU people the ASU to call off the strike while negotiation is going on. That if I were ASU, I would call off strike, and that's what we're telling ASU to do, pending the agreement. That's because we would not want to be forced into making an agreement we cannot sustain. Because if there's a strike, we'll be rushing to make the strike go off, and we might end up just promising something that we cannot do. So let's call off the strike and agree properly.
And then that's very important. Who has the bakers?
Yeah, I have the bakers,
Please.
but I think it's just another addition to your story, and this is from the Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria, and they're thinking of shutting down operations because of the price of diesel. They acknowledge that the wheat coming in is a problem, but they say it's not really that much of a problem in relation to the price of diesel. That is just, I mean, you know, we're just talking about it's just crazy, and that the cost of operations has gone, you know, through the roof because of the price of diesel. And if nothing is done soon enough, they may just have to close shop.
Wow. You know, we've been living in a fool's paradise. The truth is that a lot of things that we have... Anyway, let's go on a break. It's not our decision today. Because sometimes the reality... Just imagine everything shuts down. Like everything. Companies will shut down. Not just bakers. Everybody will shut down. All the other...
And they will not rearrange.
Will not rearrange. Because the truth is that we can't afford this luxury... We're faking it.
Yeah.
This luxury life that we're living, we can't afford it. This hair that we're buying, we can't really afford it.
Yes.
Our economy can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I agree with you.
We'll be right back. Fake life.
Fake.
Very fake.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Daily Sun. Bad fuel. Buhari approves sanctions against corporates. Kanu will be freed April 8th, says IPOB. New twist in APC over convention. religious differences have not affected my work and relationship with Buhari, says Osinbajo. MAN seeks, that's MAM, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, seeks federal government intervention as diesel hits 720 naira to the litre. 2023, Guba Abia North prepares to desert APC over zoning. And Enugu 2023, Ekwere Mado, Nwodo disagree over zoning. Okay.
Indigenous people of Biafra,
Yes.
yeah, are saying that they expect nothing but freedom for their leader, Kanu, on or before April 8, when his case will come up in court. According to their spokesperson, Ima Powerful, he said that the federal government has no tangible reason not to let Kanu go, despite charges before him, despite the fact that they had amended the charges before him to a 15-count charge. And he's advising the judge to be fair enough and save her name from ridicule, because according to the charges, the position on the 15-count amended charges said they were empty and have no iota of substance whatever. That the federal government committed a crime by, lifting him up from where he was and bringing him into the country, that's a violation of his human rights. And so they need to look into that. So they expect nothing but acquittal on or before April 8th.
Yes, so, a delegation from Senegal came to visit the office of the Vice President. The person of Grand Khalifa of Tijaniya Islamic Movement worldwide, Sheikh Mohammed Nias. The Vice President during the visit said that it is important that religion is used in Africa in a way to foster peace and prosperity for his people. He gave an example. He says, look at the president, he's a devout Muslim, and he is a pastor, and both of them have worked together for about 7 years, without any issues. And he says that many nations have used religion to prosper their people, to guide them, and that we tend to not see the impact spiritually and physically of religion on our world, that religion benefits the world. Many nations have used religion to prosper their people, to do well for their country. And so Africa should look at religion that way, allow for people to have the different religions that they want to, but also make sure that we do in such a way that it fosters peace and unity and prosperity.
And tolerance also. All right, so I was going to take the major headlines. So our president is still on the issue of the fuel scarcity and the bad fuel that was imported into, the adulterated fuel that was imported into the nation. The president has approved proper sanctions for those who are responsible. So he signed off on this before he left, and there was a meeting recently that was being held where they were talking about how to stop and ensure that this never happens again. So I'm happy that the people that they found the culprit, they didn't mention the names in this article, but I think many of us already have an idea who some of these companies are, and they're saying that they have signed up on the sanctioning of those responsible, so it doesn't happen again.
So let me take a story about an interview with the Chief of Defense Staff, explaining why Nigeria won't hire mercenaries, because people have had the opinion that if we hire foreign mercenaries to help fight the war within the country, not the war, the crisis with terrorism within the country, we might be able to put an end to the internal crisis happening, especially within the Northeast. And the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, has said that the reason they won't do this is because the primary duty of the military is to protect the sovereignty of the country, and they would not relegate that to another foreign mercenary group to do it. There's been a lot of improvement in the fighting of terrorism. It was an interview session, but one of the things I picked out was that the core of what the military is meant to do, they are doing it. They are fighting Boko Haram and ISWAP. They are changing strategy as needed to be done, and over time, bringing in foreign mercenaries will mean that we are losing hold of our country as a unit. So that would not happen. Nobody should expect that at any point in time would they bring in any foreign mercenary to come and fight on Nigerian soil. The Nigerian military will collaborate with global foreign companies to support in technical and intelligence, but not to bring them as human beings on ground to fight. I think I support that too. Okay,
so moving on quickly now to Vanguard. 1 trillion naira inflow set to escalate excess cash in banks. Mele Kyari should be appreciated, says Tanko Yakasai. Energy crisis, Gencos blame 1.64 trillion naira debt for low power supply. Power chased me, I didn't chase it, says OBJ. 2023, Osinbajo's running but still consulting, says source. UTAS, ASU flays FG's claim of failing integrity tests. I didn't exonerate Abba Kyari. I only asked for further investigation, says Malami. Scarcity, why we give priority to foreign airlines, says aviation fuel marketers. Manufacturers send SOS to FG as diesel price hits 730 naira. Okay. Which story are we starting with?
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is speaking again.
He took a lot of stories to me.
Yes. And he said,
did you guys see the video of him playing football, running to the football field?
85
he's
strong.
And strong.
Yes, so he spoke in Abeokuta during a symposium organized by Kegates Club. He's their grand patron, and they organized that activity in celebration of his 85th birthday. And he was saying that he was reluctant to be in political power. The power kept pursuing him and pursuing him and pursuing him, and he didn't want to be a part of it. Why are you people laughing? And he said that this happened in 1976 when they wanted him to take over as the military head. And he rejected it. This was said, first of all, by Farumbi, a former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, who said he was very much involved at the time, and he knows the truth that Obasanjo did not want power at the time. And also in 1999, they needed somebody who would take over and ensure that the military doesn't come back. And he was the only person who fits into that category. They begged him and begged him and begged him. And he said, yes, so that he's actually saying the truth, that they begged him. He kept running and running, and power was chasing him, and he was running and running because he was taught in his military training that you don't mix military and politics. So he was upholding it. But finally, power now caught him.
Let go of the military. All right, let me take Malami, the AGF story. He was saying, now, going back to the issue of sensationalizing, where papers kind of twist stories to make it gain traction or get traction. Now, he was saying, the news that were making around saying that there was no evidence against Abba Kyari. He said that's not what he said. What he was saying that it was a case of work in progress in which the office of the Attorney General was requesting for more investigation towards these probe that was being done, saying that there wasn't enough information and investigation that was done. According to him, the office stance is that no conclusion has been reached on the direction of absence of evidence relating to the first report. So it has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't say there's no evidence, just saying that right now investigation is not concluded, it's not sufficient, that more investigation needs to be done. And that's what he was trying to say when it was twisted, his words were twisted. So he didn't agree with that. Okay.
So we'll have our financial institution, there's a 1 trillion naira inflow. It's claiming that this would cause excess cash in the banks and it would increase inflation. As it is, Treasury bill interest rates continues to be next to nothing. For a year, it's 4.3%. Yet I know, because I approached the bank to borrow funds for my business, that it's about 20-something%. So if we're reducing interest rates for people who want to invest, and our interest rate for lending keeps going higher, there would always be inflation because I can't collect that money. Yeah. So it is important that we find a balance with our banking system, because there's excess cash, but they are not injecting it into businesses that really need the money to cost flow all around.
I wish they can learn from other countries that when their own people come to get loans, they give them as little as 1%, 2% to encourage a lot of manufacturers and business people. But how do you borrow money 26%? How much are you making from the business that you're just starting? We don't like ourselves here.
No, but there are other factors that's probably causing this. I mean, that's why we need to speak to an economist to tell us, because there are different reasons. For a country to be able to give you a 1 digit, there's something has to do. Maybe
inflation is lower, but inflation right now is double digits.
So what I'm saying, so there are different factors, and we have to now come look at it properly, so that we are properly informing Nigerians what's causing this. Because I believe that is a cycle that we have to break somehow.
Yeah.
I think we can't take any more papers unless there's an important story. We haven't taken all the stories.
No, we've taken just manufacturers that are still complaining that they will likely be shutting down. She's highlighted most of the stories.
Aviation fuel.
Yeah, aviation, yes.
Diesel
is now 720 a litre.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. This segment is sponsored by Lipton. Now, we're still celebrating and recognizing International Women's Month, the whole of March. And as we celebrate, it's also important for us to reflect and discuss issues of gender discrimination across the board. There was a story that caught our attention over the weekend about a woman who was naked and humiliated in Anambra State because she allegedly killed her husband because she was cheating on him. I think that's the story that we got.
Accused.
She was accused of cheating on him. So it's not even clear if indeed she cheated on him. But what happened, according to the story, is that the woman's husband died while he was, both of them were together, intimate in their private quarters. Because he died on her, there's an assumption, an allegation that, oh, he died because you probably cheated on him. Now, so the judge and jury concluded, and the entire community
stripped her naked
and humiliated her in public. Of course, the story was posted on a blog. It went viral. Everyone was talking about it. But it begs, again, the question of discrimination, gender discrimination against women, the issue of jungle justice, the fact that when a situation happens, as much as we want to uphold our traditional ways, how do we therefore marry traditional justice with the contemporary justice? How do we marry them together such that both sides can work smoothly without any issues? Let me start with the lady. You can call us and join the conversation on the numbers on your screen. Let me come to you, Tope, Mariam, your thoughts on this.
Of course, I felt really, really bad. There is no justification for what just happened. This is a woman who has just been bereaved. Like, this is a woman who has just lost her husband, someone she obviously loved. And the reaction of the community is to label her the one that killed the man. And this has been ongoing for many years. We have a culture that if a man dies and the wife is in any way around that vicinity or can be labeled in any way, people will just simply say she's the one that did it. And the people are the judge and the jury, and they would be the one to declare the judgment. They would even be the one to implement the judgment on the woman. So this woman was stripped naked and paraded on the streets that she killed her husband, based on no evidence. I feel that for us we've been playing lip service to solving this problem because it's not a new thing. And for us to properly solve it is for us to prosecute these custodians of culture who are the judge and jury and the ones that implement justice on innocent people without any proof. These are the people we need to prosecute, because this case would happen again. Somebody else would be in the same thing, except we make a public show of providing that these people who were all the people around her, and there were women there. There was a woman beside, there's a picture of this woman naked, and a woman beside her holding a rubber slippers. Okay, if we prosecute these women that are the ones, or the men, or the people that are judging this woman, when we do that, we will now begin to have a bit of reduction in this jungle justice system, but this is totally wrong.
Okay, yeah, so I think it's painful that in 2022, we still have issues like this. I've always said that we need to start looking at our culture. We need to start looking at our way of life and start eliminating those things that do not serve us anymore. We can't keep living in the Stone Ages in another century. We need to start eliminating, start sifting, does this one work for the society? Does this one serve us? Does this promote equity, justice, and fairness across all gender? Because it's only in this part of the world that men are really not accused of committing adultery. The adultery accusation is always on the woman. Right. And now something happens during intercourse and somebody dies. If it was the woman who had died, nobody will parade the man for cheating. Cheating that you did not see her, you are just accusing her. Nobody will do that to the man. Right. But because it's the woman, it's the man that died, everybody will look towards the woman. A woman who is in pain, who is grieving a loss, will now be subjugated to, going through terrible things that will further cause her trauma on top of the grief that she already has. And then you assume and say that this woman has cheated. I think we need to take away those things. And unfortunately, it's women who are the custodian of this patriarchy. Exactly. It's women, and we need to do better. Put yourself in that woman's shoe. If it were you, would you like this sort of treatment?
So I think so that it doesn't look as if we're speaking over the heads of some others, because the truth is that many of us that live in the cities will probably not engage. I mean, and that's just me. I'm not even sure if that's accurate anymore. But many of us may not go this route. But there are some people in certain communities that are so used to this kind of justice, they've not really seen options. Now, is it that the leaders, I mean, technology got to that community.
Yes.
Somebody recorded it.
Yes. People
so it's not as if there's no development.
Yes.
Because somebody recorded it, I mean, technology, that means that if technology can get to a community,
education is there.
Education should get to the community.
Yeah.
If education can get to a community,
people
in so exactly. Yes. So somebody's not doing their job, either in the local government, either in the women leaders. Something is happening where they are not being well educated on how things are carried out, especially marital issues, domestic issues like this.
Yes. Yes, we have a culture that really disrespects women. We have a culture that sees women as less than. And even though in many ways we have seen improvement, but sometimes when it comes to, impulsively, we see that reaction. When it comes to a woman, one of the first ways we want to deal with her is how do we humiliate her, how do we embarrass her. Yes, I've seen a situation where I think someone saw a girl walking and maybe her dress was short. And he did not think to say to her, come, sister, your dress is short. Hey, look at you. You're called out all the big, big words and was shouting at her just so that everyone else can see what he was trying to
embarrass
her. He
her.
looked much older. He looked like he could try and correct her. But he wanted it to be, he wanted it to be a situation where he's calling her out. It led to the point where he forced her to kneel down, and then he was now praying on her. In this position, she was kneeling down. He was over her like this and trying to pray over her. So I see that sometimes, like in the marketplaces, a woman is walking, you see, if she tries to say something, you see men trying to grope her, So, like you said, Mariah, we are not doing enough, really. Many times we're talking about educating the girl child. We celebrate the girls that are getting all the A's and C's and, doing very well in schools, in places where there's exposure and, widespread education. But the reality of it is that most of Nigeria is still very much backward. So we need to do much more than sitting down in air-conditioned offices, talking about, our Vision 2020, Vision 2030. We need to go into communities like this. So next thing is I hope that an example will be made of those who carry this out.
Exactly.
But not just punitively in such a way that we punish you and then that's the end of it, but also make them go through some sort of community training that will involve other women, that will open their eyes to the fact that, this could be your mother, your sister, your daughter. How would you feel if this was happening to her? And then we need to talk to our women face to face. Auntie, how did you see this happening to your other sister? And it was okay in your spirit. It did not pinch you inside your heart that this should not be happening. Why wasn't there a line of women standing and saying, we will not let you carry this out?
Exactly.
What is wrong with us women?
It's the women.
Absolutely.
It's the women.
I mean, this is Anambra State, so, and I'm so we're one of the people that are really excited about the new governor of the state, because we're really hoping that part of his agenda is almost to educate, and it's not just Anambra, it's across the country. It happens in Lagos State here, everywhere. Because the truth is that the real education is, yes, a crime has been committed, or possibly, we don't even know. No, so the right thing, we don't even know if it's a crime.
Culturally, they say that if a man dies, if a woman has cheated, if she comes back to get intimate with her husband, the curse would come upon either her children. She would either lose her child or lose her husband. So because of that, they now feel like if the man dies for a second, something must have happened. You must have done something to make such happen to you.
All these emotional judgments that we've had from back then, the truth is that they don't have, the education should have changed. It's not godless, it's not serving us again. Because could have died of a heart attack.
Yes. Science has an explanation
Cardiac
for that.
arrest.
Cardiac arrest could have happened.
Yes.
Simple.
Do you know how many, I was telling somebody the other day that I don't know about many leaders, but I was there when they were raining curses on Ibrahim Babangida, the kind of curses they rained on this man in 1993, you think as if the man, in the next 5 years, the man, there's no way that everything about him will destroy because of all they carry coffin, they put his thing in the name inside coffin, everything. Job 93. Yeah, the day they insulted Babangida, you think that the man is over basking in happy. You think that they have. So is that emotional judgment? You think that by screaming his name, cursing him, you think he will die? No, he's not dead. He's alive and well. So the point is that all these are emotional judgments. Doesn't do jack. The truth is that we must be factual. In a lot of things we do.
Yes, and another thing is, I like the fact that Miriam mentioned we need to re-educate the people. And we have to do this because it's something based in culture. You know how people get when you want to attack. They see it as an attack on their culture. This is how our fathers have done it. This is how our mothers have done it back in the day. We are definitely going to have to go through the local heads, the chiefs. They are the ones who will be championing this sort of education and sensitization. And we're also going to hold women to sisterhood. We are not our neighbor's keeper. We are not we don't act like sisters. When things happen, everybody's just vicious, as if they've been waiting for you to fall. They want to quickly, latch on you and deal with you. And hey, you're done too much. You don't do shakara.
Somebody should have removed rapper and covered that
we don't need that. We need to see ourselves as sisters. We're in this fight together. We're in this together. The world cannot be against us, and we are against ourselves. A house divided against itself will not stand. Any woman out there is your sister. So if something is happening, the first instinct should be protection. You must protect that woman, and then we'll start finding solutions.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll take some phone calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of discrimination, humiliation of this woman in Anambra State. Let's take a few comments on social media, then we'll take a few calls. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Oladidi was like, cheating is immoral, cheating is a sin according to the tenets of our adopted religion. Don't know about traditional religion, but cheating is not illegal. If she's cheating, so I think people don't understand that from the comments that this is an accusation.
Nobody she's cheating.
But let me first even clarify the truth of this story. Some people feel it's a fiction. It's not a fiction. It's a real life story that happened in recent times in Anambra State. Not fiction. A woman was intimate with her husband. Her husband died. And then she was stripped naked. It's not paraded. A movie. This still happens now. So there's and the parading was because they felt she killed her husband by her previous cheating.
Okay, let me take this call because I really want us to discuss the fact that if indeed, let us say indeed she cheated, does she deserve to be paraded, humiliated like that? That's a question. Let me take this call from Anambra State. Good morning, madam. Are you there? Hello, madam. Good morning. You're live. Hello, madam, are you there? I know she really wanted to speak to us. Yes.
Yes, so Yetunde says there is no proof that she cheated. Superstitious belief is the bane of traditional society in Nigeria. The man must have died of natural causes. It's not today that people die during intimacy. Tolu's view. I think the right thing would be to investigate cause of death while also condemning the actions of the community of men and women. Was the man poisoned? Was it the case of the woman trying to cover up? So the thing is, somebody mentioned that we are siding somebody who's cheating. We are not siding. Okay, please go ahead and read it. Let me make my comment.
Royal Favor says, cheating is cheating. We should all know that Africa, cultural land, a diverse culture. If you are tired of your husband, come out, tell everyone and divorce him. It's allowed. Stop siding a cheating woman.
We are not siding a cheating woman.
No, we are siding I am siding a cheating woman. Hang in there. Let me explain it.
Okay,
let's get it right.
Go ahead.
A woman cheats. She's an adult. She made a decision to cheat. Either right, I can make a decision to slap your face. It's my decision.
Yeah.
I can be accused of slapping your face and be arrested because I harassed as an assault.
Yes.
But it's my decision. I cheated on him. I'm an adult. I chose to cheat.
So it's not jungle justice.
So it's not jungle justice. There's a court you can arrest me to that you cheated on me because of this, and then you take me to court the right way.
Yes.
You don't accuse because, oh, she's a cheat, and now
then you
humiliate.
strip the person
It's wrong.
naked.
It's barbaric. Period.
It's cheating a crime.
So for you to even text that on the message, so somebody who has a phone, it means that at least is educated enough to write to text, can write that and say you're cheating, you're supposed to be a cheating woman. There's a problem in our country. So we'll go back to what we said before the break.
Yeah.
We're living in a bubble. We really don't know what we're doing
We're
in this
not real
country.
to ourselves.
We're not real.
But I wanted to answer to say that it's not like we're supporting a cheating woman. The action in question here is not the cheating. That is not the cause.
It's the humiliation.
It's the humiliation on the
And
woman. So
justice.
you can handle the action differently when you gather family members and then whether you take back your diary or whatever and everybody goes their separate ways. But that humiliation of parading that woman. Remember when they brought a woman who was accused of adultery to Jesus, I come again. And they said, and Jesus said, he who has no sin should cast the first stone. You are parading this woman for cheating. Have you found out the man she cheated with to parade him to?
Exactly.
That's my point.
But
this boy, let me take this call. I'll come to you. Okay. Good morning, Ayobami. He's been holding for a while.
Good
Ayobami,
morning.
are you there? Thanks for calling. Go ahead. You're live. I think there's something wrong with our phone lines. Good morning, Ayobami. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm
You're
here.
live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. I'm calling for the first time from Ibadan.
Welcome to the show. Are you listening to the TV or listening to me? Because it's a bit
So,
delayed.
the issue of discrimination against women is entirely the solution is entirely lies with our government. Our governments are not doing enough. Our governments are not doing enough at all.
No, we be the government.
Now, I want to quickly give an example of some successes the government have done in the area of FGM. You will realize that female genital mutilation is very common in the West here. But you know, with the support of civil society and what have you, government were able to really make serious decisions as to stop it. In Oyo State, they went to different local governments and told them that if you carry out FGM, you will be prosecuted, you will go to jail. And these local women became fearful and they started, preaching on how not to continue with such barbaric practice.
Imagine.
This kind of strategy can be employed, towards the discrimination against women, towards violence against women. We just need to put pressure on our government and let them do more for women in this country. Thank you
very much. So R. Kelly was arrested. Bill Cosby was arrested. If I see Bill Cosby even before the trial, and I start beating him up or I parade him because I'll equal simple. So it's like we're living in a jungle. So we need re-education. So that's why I said I'm even supporting the adulterer. I am supporting her because she's a human being. She's a Nigerian and she pays. Well, even if she doesn't pay taxes, but she lives in this country. She deserves justice, the right justice. Nobody should say, "Are you supporting a cheat?" Yes, I am supporting her because she's a human being.
Yeah.
So I feel that we have a bigger problem. We have a bigger problem of we have lost our humanness. Like we don't behave like this person is human. If you see somebody do something, you took a piece of meat from the pot, I will use iron and I will burn your face. I will use hot knife and I will mark your body. This is how it plays out in different other areas of our life, that we are not human. We don't feel empathy for a human being anymore. And we don't trust the justice system to carry out the rights, to mete out justice to people. We need to go back to start telling them that if you see something wrong, take the person to the police station. If you start trusting, and I must applaud the police in this particular community.
Yes,
I want to applaud the police for stepping in and rescuing the woman and arresting. We must arrest and prosecute those that carried out the harassment on the woman.
It's important that they are also taught the better way to do things, because while they were doing this, there were children watching and they were learning to say, so this is what happens to someone if she's accused of. So the children need to see these adults arrested and put in a class. Every day they arrive at that class and then they learn for a few hours, and when they finish, they go and sweep the community. The people will see them with their broom, and because this is what you do when you humiliate someone for no just cause. They need to also learn that there's a better channel to do it. If she is suspected of having killed her husband, is that all you want? Let's just say she even killed her husband. Is that all you want from her? That they just parade her and then she goes? Don't you want to see that she ends up in prison? Won't you want for her to go through the justice system so that she gets the punishment that she rightfully deserves? Or you just want her to kill her husband and then walk away? So if you want,
your ego.
yeah, but if this is really about justice and not your ego, you will do the proper way. And I believe that so many people know the right thing to do, but it's just that part of them that I need to humiliate you because you're a woman. I need to punish you because you're a child. That part of us, we need to change that.
You don't
I have to run off. Let me take this, Azima. Good morning, Azima. Are you there? You're live. Good morning, Azima. Are you there? From Enugu.
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, Azima, you're live. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes, okay. Oh, what I want to say is that this thing is a societal issue. The problem we are having right now is a societal issue. It's not about the man, it's not about the woman. It's a societal issue. We are still backlogged in our minds. Our mindset is still backlogged. We are just like one who is passing through school but not allowing the school to pass through him or her. We are in a civilized century where we have the telephones, the media innovations, but all these things are not passing through Nigeria. Yes, we are using phone. In fact, I get to think about it sometimes when you see some people, they are holding their phone and the microphone is somewhere else and they are putting their ear and in another place. So that is how it is.
So
it's our mindset.
using smartphones.
Our mindset is still backlog. We've not really allowed the civilization to pass through us as a nation, as a people, as a tribe, as a mother, as a father, or as a child.
Thank you very much, Azima.
So we are still thinking backwards. How can it be that somebody, yes, the man died. Who knows whether the man was okay? Who knows whether he was having high BP? Who knows whether it was a cardiac arrest? Who knows?
Thank you very much, Azima. We have to wrap up with this, but that's a fantastic point. Yeah. But I think one of the reasons why we do this show is because we try to give women a platform to speak. And I think, and that's why when people ask me about, your view, and I say, listen, it is my dream that this show is replicated across board, replicated in Igbo, in Yoruba, in every single language, in community, in the lowest and the highest, every strata. It's not because we're trying to be celebrities, but because we're trying to give women a platform to speak, because what Reverend Adam said was so crucial. The women in the community must be empowered to speak up against the status quo. Yeah. They must be empowered to speak up and say, you know what, this is not acceptable. So we need to empower more women like this. It's International Women's Month, and we'll continue to bring these issues to the fore. Women must speak up. We cannot keep silent and say, because I know there are a lot of women that I didn't like that, but because that's what everybody else is doing, they tag along, and we must be able to say no. We have to say no to these things.
And the women that like that, please change.
Exactly. It's wrong.
We are sisters.
I seriously doubt if women really like it. I seriously doubt it. I really doubt it.
They do. Okay, who is now enforcing it?
Yeah.
They're enforcing it.
They've accepted. They're afraid.
No.
That's all they know, which is why this show is important, to make them realize that there's option. That's all they know.
You know, there's this crowd.
I think you're just excusing them.
There's this herd mentality. So imagine you're the one standing up for that woman. They say, oh, they're cheating together. That is why, and another person does not want to be part of that. So we're afraid and we lock up. Many of us don't speak up because we're afraid of being put on a platform and then questioned. But we need women, to do better. Yeah, we need to do better. We need to let women know that we're supporting them.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So another really hot topic in Nigeria is the incessant kidnapping of young children. Teenagers, little kids, all are not excluded in this rampant kidnapping we've been experiencing in the last few weeks in Lagos State and across the country also. So a story went viral over the weekend about one Okada rider who, I think it's not Okada, it was a dispatch rider, thank you. Oh, I just got distracted. A dispatch rider who they allegedly caught a little child in his back, the back box that he carries. And this child was found, and I think they arrested. I'm not even sure if they arrested him because I saw them carrying the man in the bike. Again, jungle justice hitting him, trying to get him to the police station. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Another similar story of a man recording a child who was allegedly, possibly dumped in front of his house, according to him, by midnight. In the morning, he had to do a camera, report the situation to the police station so that they try to get the videos viral so that the parents can actually come forward for the child. And then there was a third story of a teenager. I mean, I heard that the girl has been found. Yes. I can't remember her name. Yeah. That she was missing over the weekend. Yes, I posted it on my page. I also posted it on my story, actually. If I can get her name, she's been found, which I was so happy about that. But somehow, this has been happening, reoccurring, where youngsters are being kidnapped. And it's important we bring these kind of stories to the fore because we must be more vigilant in our community and live with. Gone are the days where you can say, yeah, 5-year-old, go and buy this, buy bread. Go and meet. Those days have passed because you can't keep doing that anymore. It seems like it's no longer safe. There's the conspiracy theory. Elections are on the corner, and these are doing these, all sorts of stories. Some are saying they're using them for rituals, people are looking for money. There are so many stories. I said, all these funny conclusions we make. Investigations in the past, we don't know the conclusions that have happened, those that have been kidnapped in the past. You see, everything is a bit frustrating, but it's important we talk about these things because it's painful to talk about, to think about, but we must talk about it so that Nigerians are aware. So let me start with you. I don't know what your thoughts are when you had the story.
I mean, wicked people are wicked people and they're everywhere. So I guess we need to start doing things and taking measures to protect ourselves and, you know, leave the rest to God and the government. I remember one time my husband said he went out with my son when he was much younger and left him in the car to just quickly do something. And someone that he knows recognized the car and came to the car and was talking to my child, and my son was talking back. And he said to my husband, "You haven't taught this boy how to be wary of strangers. This is not right. You know, sometimes we are very protective of our children. We don't want them to know that there's a wicked world out there, but there's a wicked world out there." So you hear Oyinbo people teach their children about strangers. Don't talk to strangers. And, you know, when they talk to you, take your face away. And when you see an adult that you know, you quickly report it. When we were growing up, we were taught not to take anything from strangers. When they would bring biscuits to you to give you, don't take anything. If you see something on the floor, run very far away from that, because our parents understood that that was how they would lure you and grab you. I'm saying all this not because I'm trying to give a pass to the kidnappers. I'm just saying we need to do something to help ourselves. Because, you know, the usual thing is government is not doing enough. People are not doing enough. These wicked people, whatever strategy you get, they'll try and circumvent it. So the thing is, be careful your children not to, you know, be on the streets. Many people let their kids go on the streets to do things, to buy stuff. You hear a little child, I think the one you were talking, a child went to get the ATM at 13 years. I know how that is. It's good to want to see your child being independent. Yeah. But the new world that we live in, we have to be more careful until God, you know, saves us, until there are proper things put in place. See, abroad, sometimes when these things happen, they have like CCTV cameras. They can say, okay, this is where the child was last seen. And this was the person that quickly you can trace. In Nigeria, it will be, this person just went across the road and no one would say that they saw your child. So on that one side, as parents, we need to do better. We need to be more protective. I'm sorry, this is the new world that we live in. But then as government, we need to make examples of the people that we catch. Exactly. We need to see their faces. We need to see how it ends up for them so that people can learn. The picture of the boy the video of the boy that was caught in the dispatch rider's box When I saw the dispatch rider, he's a young boy.
Yeah.
What is he doing kidnapping? What is he looking for? What does he expect to get from kidnapping a child? I don't get it.
To sell it.
I mean, people have just, the world has just gone,
Let me take
turned
your other
upside down.
comments from.
So I would say, let me start by saying evil thrives where there is no justice. If there is enough justice, we will reduce the number of people that resort to crime and evil. There will still be wicked people among us. We cannot entirely eradicate evil and wickedness, but we will reduce the prevalence of people resorting to that when there is justice, number one. Number two, communal living used to be our way of protecting ourselves because when you cross the road, I've said this story several times, I wanted to cross the road under the bridge, and before I could move, my mommy called me. Because somebody thought that Tope was to cross the road, I called my mom that Tope was to cross the road. And mommy called me, don't cross the road, take the bridge. You know, so it was, everybody was watching. Why are you crossing that road? Stay on this side. That's what your parents will. They just see you that, go back into the house. Everybody was watching each other's back. But now, we don't even know our neighbors' children.
Everybody's greedy now.
That was another check. Number three is, we used to be raised street smarts. And
Papa, take me there.
we need to
thank
be
you for taking us there.
we need to be street smart. Like, you understand, if you hold me, I know where to kick you. If you grab me, I know how to scream. Like, we need to, our children don't understand street smart.
Clue on street smartness. Have clueless.
So I heard a story of one boy that it was the first time he was going out. He was going to, they sent him on an errand. It's a grown-up boy. He was going into university, and somebody said, "Let me use your phone to make a phone call." And he gave out his phone to make a phone call. I'm coming back. And the boy stood there from morning till night waiting for the phone to come back. His parents were now looking for him everywhere. He said, but somebody said I should give him my phone. He wanted to make a phone call.
Trusting.
So I gave him the phone, and I did not see him again.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, in Lagos. So we raise these children. They are not streets. They don't understand. You let them know kidnapping take place. If somebody is giving you this, shout at them and say, don't kidnap me. We need to get back into that space.
Thank you for taking us there, because it's a whole different world. I mean, God help me. Recently, you're talking about prayer earlier. And when we're praying in the house, you know, my husband goes into all these strong prayers, strong team prayers. And I just open my eyes and say, bros, these are children. They don't have enemies of the highest ancestral enemies. They calm down now. Take it easy. But you see, I can understand he's trying to let them know that this world is there's something in the world. Because these are little kids, skabashing, and they're thinking, well, they're just kids. Don't bring them into the ancestral enemies and the demons that are chasing their father's father. Don't do that. But the truth is that we do that because you prepare, this should have begun to understand that there's a bigger world out there, and there's a lot of bad things happening, and we need to start
While living in a jungle.
Living in a jungle. So that's the reality of our times. These children must be able to know how to do these things.
We've tried to, sometimes we always say, let me protect my children so that they don't experience what I experienced. But darling, you experienced and you came out this way, and you came out strong. So it's not all that bad. And I'm beginning to realize that most of the challenges we went through, we had to go through to be the substance that we are today. And they are necessary. But with everything that is happening now, I don't know how safe it is to introduce them to the streets. We can talk at home, but if you don't leave them to practice what you're saying, you will not know. I didn't know. I felt I was talking, I was preaching, I was teaching, till my children went to the boarding house, and I was like, whoa. Hold on a minute. Whoa, I didn't see this coming. And I brought them back. And I saw where I needed to pay more attention to and to work. So if we preach and teach and we still put them in that cocoon, how do we know that when they go out there, they will practice? We will never know. So the thing is, do your best as a parent in terms of protecting your children, but also let them see the other side. So you can show them, you can, talk to them about it. You can share. Parents don't like to share their bitter experiences with their children. We like apart from me, we like to act like we are saints. We did not go through this, we did not go through that. It's good to start telling your children real life stories of what you went through and how you were able to overcome it. Now, the other case of the child that was abandoned is not today people born Peking that they don't want to take care of. So it could be that case that a girl got pregnant and then put up the child, and didn't have anybody to look after the child, just decides to keep that child. So in that sort of case, what you advise is that the person takes the child to the police station. They'll find a motherless baby's home. While they're looking for the parent, they may not find that parent. They may not find that lady, but then the child will be adopted. You know, there's a way they do those sort of things. And I'm also happy that the person who got the child is not a criminal. Who would have said, God, don't send me lamb for sacrifice, and decide to use the child for something else?
All right, so we have an update. I mean, the producer just sent us an update saying that the young boy that allegedly kidnapped this little boy is actually his uncle. So she said that the mother insisted that the dispatch rider seen with her child is her child's uncle, and she was the one who gave him the child. She said he's not a kidnapper, as was claimed in the video shared by locals who saw him with the child and assumed the worst. Now, so in this case, so the whole, I don't even, so in this case, I'm the one that gave him the baby myself because I trust him. He's my baby's uncle. Okay,
so put in a box.
In this situation,
we need to have more investigation.
Yeah, there's more investigation.
Yes.
So first of all, we are happy that it's an uncle, right? That's a good thing. But also, today we'll be saying mothers must be very careful. Giving your child to an uncle is not really the safest thing these days anymore. We don't. That was back then. You shouldn't be giving your children to just anybody. On what basis would you give a child to an uncle?
Be in
the box.
Because it was maybe you are trying to move the child from one place to the other, and there's no place
but the
for
story
the child
didn't
to sit
specifically
down.
say it was in a box. Actually, we don't know, but we only saw the box open, so we're assuming the child was in the box. But there's a possibility that
child was sitting in
it was possible. I don't
They
know.
won't have raised that sort of alarm.
Yeah, they
that
said
child
it was
in the
the
box.
dispatch was in the box.
Yeah.
But there was another story about the abandoned child, and I think that we need to create a system where a person can give up their child for adoption on a legal way. And we need to, and there are many orphanages around. Don't dump your child. If you're pregnant, you don't want that child, or you're struggling to raise the child and you don't want that baby anymore, don't dump the child in somebody's house. Because some people actually, maybe postpartum depression, or they just, like, life has happened to them. The bills are so much. They're looking at the baby and they're like, I cannot survive with this baby. There are orphanages. Go and dump the baby in front of the orphanage because you are sure that your child will be used for money rituals or something, and they will get proper care. Take that child to an orphanage. Don't just let's provide enough safe haven around for people who can't handle that responsibility part time.
So we have to remember
Can we
this.
stop also shaming the people who get pregnant out of wedlock? Because that's where it comes from. So you shame them, they hide, they give birth to the baby, and they dump the baby. We've heard stories of dumping baby in toilets, dustbin bags, and all those things. If we stop the shaming, then people will come out and say, I'm having this baby, but I cannot take care of this baby. I need help.
As we wrap up on this, I think we're happy that the child is safe back with the mother, which is a good thing, but it doesn't negate the reality that many children are being kidnapped today. And parents must see things differently going forward. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we do have a confirmation from the Police Public Relations Officer, Lagos State Command, the CSP Adekunle Ajishebutu, concerning the child who was allegedly abducted. According to them, the child's mother, Lovina Peters, was contacted, and she revealed that the child was actually taken away and put in a dispatch motorbike because the child was crying uncontrollably. And because the child is a 10-month-old child, because the child is fond of the rider, who is a relative, a neighbor, and was crying uncontrollably, the rider, she allowed the rider to take him along to go pick up, because he had a job, so she allowed him to take the child to go pick up his job, to pacify him. Unfortunately, passers-by who saw the child with the rider along Shangotedu, said it became suspicious when the child was crying uncontrollably, and saying that the child might have been stolen, and then they raised an alarm and attracted a mob.
Thank God
the mob subsequently pounced on the rider, beating him without finding out the truth. This goes back to jungle justice. Dispatch rider later identified as William Stadule was said to have been rescued by the chairman of the Sunview Estate, Shango Tedu. All right, so this is jungle justice right there. So we appreciate that the community identified a child, right? Crying and suspected. Now, what we would have preferred is that stop it and then direct him to the police station. Where did you get this child from? Who is the mother? Then carry him. But the fact that there's a mob around beating up the guy, the child was probably traumatized because the way they carried the child, you know. So as much as we appreciate the attention, but there's a better way of doing it. So the local government within Shango Tedu, maybe it was EAT or Star local government, whatever it is, their job therefore now is to begin to educate Nigerians. The motorbikes, we're going to go out to the campaign. The motorbikes associations will go around to the downfall drivers associations, go around to all they're out there, so they will market them and the allogers and talk about speak against jungle justice. How do we do things? We can reach them.
I'm sure we can reach them because we collect money from them. All Okada riders contribute money on a daily basis to the local government. There is a machinery that ensures that local government drivers, Okada riders, Keke Napep riders, bus drivers, they pay. They do meetings, they have ID card, they reach out to these people. So it's possible for us to disseminate information through them. Our market women attend meetings every week. So it is possible for us to push these messages because there are, and we cannot know for a fact, but I am very sure innocent people have lost their lives to jungle justice in Nigeria. And if we reduce it, we can still have justice, but it doesn't have to be done by people on the streets.
Let me ask you a question, please, Miriam. So your child is crying uncontrollably, and then you take the child and give to a neighbor.
No, his uncle.
His uncle. That is, everybody's uncle could be neighbor. Yes,
so
at the same time. Give to your uncle, to his uncle or his neighbor. And he takes this child to work, and the child is still crying. See, we need to start going to parenting school.
Not everybody
If your child is crying, giving your child to somebody else to pacify is not, that is totally wrong. You should find the reason why your child is crying and pacify your child. Why are you handing your child? Hold on now. We are parents.
Sometimes we
are parents. Your baby is crying. And instead of you to find you may be busy. You don't want to pay attention. Yeah. It's easy way out to say, follow this person. They will give you biscuit or make you okay. And then you go. She's a child. She's clueless. We need to start going to some of these parenting schools so that we know the right things to do when issues like this happen. What if the child was killed? You said because
he fell off the bike.
Yes, you said because the child is crying, you will blame yourself for the rest of your life. We need to be careful as parents.
I understand where you're coming from, and you're right. If the situation is that you carried your child because you did not want to take care of the child, but it has happened so many times, that means all of us will arrest us. There have been times I've given my brother when my children were really tiny, and then I said, please take this child. He's crying, stroll with him. Do you understand? And then someone will now see him on the road and beat him because he did something that he would normally do for his nephew. So there's a safety issue. The safety issue is different, where if he had put that child on the bike or in that dispatch box, that is wrong. That's a serious safety issue, and that is wrong. But to give your child to your brother or to an auntie who is taking a stroll around the estate, if it was in a car, let's just assume that the guy had a car and the baby was in the car seat and still crying. That person wouldn't have gotten that much attention from anyone. But it's because the person was on a bike, and it's a bike that they have. If it was a bicycle, it's the bicycle that they have. If they don't have car, it will be leg, and then you see a young man carrying a baby and just strolling. I have carried my son one time, and I got on a train. This was in London, and Foggy cried from the beginning of the trip to the end of the trip. Yes, so people were looking at me with side eye. I could see, like, maybe some of them had even called.
Why did you pop out your...
It was a grown child. But, you know, they were looking at me in strange ways. I knew that probably some of them would have even called to make sure that I hope this woman has not stolen this child. So that's good. That's where I'm headed. So now we have to just teach our community. We're so grateful. We appreciate that you are, you know, that you were able to pay attention and you noticed something that seemed suspicious. But we need to know the next step to do in such a way that we protect even the child, so that the good that we have started, we don't destroy it, because it happens that way.
The reason why some of these people are also very skeptical is because when you take them to the police, you now become they're going to tell you to bring money. Where did you find it? They'll hold you. They'll hold you. So it's that vicious
but
cycle.
even at that, even at that, we should still always report to the police. I feel that this woman, she obviously a young woman who has not just one. Like there are 2 children in that picture. You see 2 children. As a mother, I have been frustrated with my crying child. That's the truth. I've cried along with them because I just didn't know what to do to understand what is going on. So I can understand that I need help in whichever way I can get it. I will go back to jungle justice. When we see things like this happen, the police need to help us. And I'm happy the PRO of police is watching. Let me explain why people don't go to the police. If I catch someone and I feel suspicious and I follow them to the police, I've wasted my day. Because the me that came to report the crime, I will be told to write the brief. I'll be told to sit down and wait until the entire thing the process is clearly done. I shouldn't be victimized for reporting what I saw. If I see something go wrong and I report to the police, I shouldn't be questioned like I'm part of the crime.
They will hold you to
so
explain.
That is, for me, part of the reasons people don't go to the police station, because they don't want to also be, they say, oh, you will see the crime. Oh, yeah, sit down. Tell us what you see. Right? You cannot go. You must come back next week and tell us what happened.
Let's bring this back to the doorstep of the women, because, as I said, we're still celebrating International Women's Month. We've claimed the whole month. It was one day before, but now we've claimed the whole month. And in the spirit of this season, I think all the women leaders out there should begin to see the importance of educating the communities. It's one thing for us to sit down and wear gele and carry t-shirts and carry placard and just be dancing. That is one thing. But the other thing is the real education. So I know a lot of work is being done, but more work needs to be done, especially to the male counterparts. So maybe the women in some various communities are a bit more educated, but we need to start talking to these bus drivers. They are usually the first one when it comes to jungle justice. The bus drivers, the area boys, Pashala used to call them good boys, the good boys of Lagos. You know, all of them, we need to begin to educate them. How, when you see a crime, the first thing you do is not to throw a tire around the person. The first thing you do is to call the police. And let's know that the police in those neighborhoods must be involved. Begin to patrol. Let people know your names. My name is Mr. John. I'm the police here. Let them know so they can call you immediately when there's a problem. So you must be familiar with the community. There's been so much work done, so much work to be done at the grassroots level.
Please, let me even say this. As we're discussing jungle justice, Okada riders take one way. They run into your vehicle, you mistakenly jam them, and the driver of the car is the one that gets beaten.
Yes. I have a story.
The driver of the car, and we all know that these Okada riders are the ones that do one way. They don't even have a way. So they are interwoven between the cars, and something happens, and you will see the reaction. All the Okadas will park, block the road, and immediately pounce on the driver of the car. We need to stop this, because we must understand that people must be held accountable. If an Okada rider is accident happens on a trunk where Okadas are illegal, the person already, if he goes police station, will not get justice. At all. But jungle justice allows them just have their way. So we must come back to start educating ourselves on what is right, what is wrong. Mariah, we don't have that education. No? People don't know what is right and what is wrong anymore. So we must start teaching ourselves. This is what is right. When things go wrong, this is how you behave. When there are accidents, this is your first reaction. Is not to bring out your phone and record. It is not to start shouting, ew, ew. It is not to start blowing air on the person or pour water on somebody's head. We need to go back and start having that meetings from our
let me take this councils. Call. Dr. Ajay from London. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning to all you ladies.
Go ahead, please.
I condemn jungle justice. It's not a good thing at all. But in this scenario, I blame that mother. Nigeria is so sensitive now. If your child is crying and they put your child in a box on a bike, you know it will attract so many people's attention and suspicion. So if the man was driving a car, it would have been a different thing. Even you, all of you are in the studio, if you are walking with your child on the street and the child is crying, saying, leave me, leave me, people will challenge you. Even though it's your child, you need to explain yourself. Nigeria is too sensitive now. So you shouldn't just release a child like that, take in the box and be driving. It's endangering that man's life. Thank God they didn't kill the guy.
Remember there was a young girl too that was caught. It was in Ogun State. She stole the child from Lagos. And she was like, somewhere else, the house help. But they kept noticing that she was in the bus. They kept noticing that newborn baby. And she couldn't breastfeed, she couldn't do anything. They kept wondering, what is wrong with this? Is this your child? And now they're able to suspect and find out that she stole the child.
The issue of the jungle justice, I had an experience once. I was going to deliver goods. I just started selling on one of these e-commerce platforms. And then I was about to take a turn to the right. I started trafficking. And as I was just about to cut in, he slammed me. This bike man slammed me from behind and broke his leg. Before I could say Jack, it was police that saved me that day. There were tons of bike men. They have surrounded my car. They were speaking their language. So I'm looking at how do we educate people who do not understand English language? How do we give them that education? How do we liaise with their heads? Because they have, that was when I found out that they have somebody who brings them from wherever they are coming from, brings them here and they calm them. So that particular guy was sleeping with animals in abattoir. At night, when they are done with their bike during the day, they go to the animals place in abattoir. That's where they have their phones. I went there because I had to pay for his treatment and everything. And so, and so that was the first time I was seeing that sort of lifestyle in Lagos State. And I was pained. Though, by the time the police assessed the situation, they were wrong. But because there were so many, the police said, let us go to the police station now. Thank God we came immediately. If not, they would have dealt with me. They would have burned the car, probably beating me or something. But they were wrong. So the guy tried to explain to them in their language that you were wrong. You slammed. See, it's from the back. She didn't hit you. You slammed and broke my headlights and everything. But the guy was like, I brought him from wherever he was coming from. He can't go back. We have to treat him. And I still spent money. So somebody bashes my car, and I spend money taking care of the person. And when I went to, in fact, I could not even object to spending the money when I saw the deplorable conditions where they sleep, how they sleep, all packed into each other with animals. So the education we're talking about, we need to understand exactly how these people live,
how far it goes,
how far we can go to get them. The work is plenty.
How do we survive?
I don't know. It's a mixed multitude. When I saw them that day, I went to my father-in-law is a lawyer, so he went with me to the place to see where these people were sleeping. I cried. And when they were saying, I will have to pay for it, I just said, Daddy, let's just take care of this. Let me take this. And you're a very young boy. Doesn't understand English. The work is many.
Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to make a point of correction. And also to make my point known. I'm against jungle justice. But you see, dispatch riding is not for dispatching children.
True.
It's not for dispatching children.
At all.
People have every right to suspect. And for every police to tell you that the son is the guy is a child's uncle, they need to dig deep into it. Anything can happen. This is a way we can protect ourselves. If people don't talk, how do you know? It can happen to anybody.
True.
Mariah, you are talking about children being kidnapped because you are in Lagos. Go to the northern Nigeria, where the whole family are kidnapped. And secondly, I would like to talk about this, your first topic, about this gender inequality. You see, that one is not a discrimination against women. It's something that people believe in their society. In Yoruba land here, that's what they call magu. That magu in Yoruba land here, if anybody claims anybody's wife, the man will die. Can we look at that one and say it's a gender-based discrimination? No.
It is.
You see, whenever we want to draw an argument, we should not go through this straw man ideology or straw man.
Pastor, let me pause you for a second. I hear you. Let's discuss that. I like how you're taking us to Magu. So Magu, according to tradition, is that charm where that is done. Once your wife cheats on you, somebody dies. Either you die or
the man cheater will die.
But the point is, so let's just imagine that happened. Now, wouldn't you think the right thing is to take this entire situation to the ballet? Forget the circular system, right? Let's take it to the Oba's palace. This woman was caught cheating on her husband. this, how would you handle it? Is that not better than stripping her naked? Now, if it was the Oba himself that decreed and said, your punishment, therefore, is to strip you naked, then we'll take the Oba himself, take him to court. Yes.
Let me say something. Let me say something here. You see, we always try to draw up an argument that is irrelevant to support something or to win an argument. You see, this issue is much like a straw man. A straw man looking for irrelevant evidence to win an argument. This is not a gender-based. Look at Ubajulu. That is what is happening in our society. Also, caste system is happening in Igbo land. Nobody is doing anything. You understand? In Yoruba land, you have Magu system where somebody claims somebody's wife and he dies. So what are we talking about? It's never about this gender inequality, please. Women are our mothers. We were born by women.
Hassan, did you hear what I said? Hassan, are you listening to me? Hassan, I need you, so I've heard you, and you've made your point, and that's a valid point. Also, system is there. Absolutely. Does it make it right? It's arguable.
We're trying to abolish that also system.
It's arguable. Well. Does it make it right? It's arguable.
And if, just in response to Hassan, and if we have situations where the violence is not gender-based, it does not take away from the reality that we have gender discrimination in our country, within our culture. The genital mutilation is gender-based, is gender discrimination. The fact that when a woman's husband dies, she's made to scrape off her head and maybe go hungry and stay, without ashes, is gender discrimination because the man is not expected to do that. So there may be situations where it is not discrimination against the woman, but there are so many more that it is against the woman. And this one, having the woman paraded in her community naked, is because she's a woman. It's not because she's a man, because it was a man who was caught cheating. He would not be paraded naked through the community. So that's what we're saying.
That's in itself, without any proof. That's what our conversation is about, that a woman is paraded naked without any proof that the death of her husband was based on her cheating. Even if now the death of her husband was based on her cheating, the line of action is not to strip her naked. It is to take her to court and deal with it legally. Bringing us back to the Magu system. Anybody that can find a justification for Magu, I don't even want to have a conversation. Because do you know what happens to a woman that is not cheating and has Magu? She dies. If a woman has been, if a Magu is placed on a woman and she does not sleep with any other man within that period, she will die.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So we are discussing the fact that if you suspect she's cheating, then you better be sure she's cheating and she better cheats.
So if you are wrong,
the woman's life is at risk.
So why don't you leave the marriage?
It's still gender-based.
Yes.
It is inhuman for a woman to be placed at the risk of losing her life because she's cheating. Leave the marriage. Discuss these things. Because nobody is putting that responsibility on a man.
Yes.
Nobody is putting Magu on a man for his cheating. We are not saying that cheating is right. We are saying if you found cheating, then leave the marriage, resolve the issues, dissolve the relationship, but don't put any human being's life at risk for whatever it is by your own self.
So
why are we killing the women?
Because men don't die when they cheat. So I don't understand how that was created. Yes, men don't die when they cheat. The worst case that will happen is you leave the house or they marry somebody inside, but they don't die when they cheat.
In African culture, men
are allowed to cheat.
Men are allowed,
just being men.
Yes, allowed to be with different
and they say it's not gender discrimination. Now we're
I
done.
don't even know what else to say again. Miriam, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Morning.
Good morning, Miriam. You're live. Go ahead.
Good morning to the ladies.
Good morning, sister. Good morning.
I am just, the outrage is not even enough. Thank you, ladies, for bringing up this Anambra case. The thing is this, I don't even like the fact that Papa is talking about not confirmed or confirmed. It seems like you people care a lot about what Nigerians think. At this point, it is not about what you think. It is barbaric. This is unacceptable. This is backward. This is inhuman. Like, how do you ever conceive this kind of thing? Now, let me tell you what is obtainable in this tribe. This thing is spearheaded by the Umuadas. Umuadas are the women of the family of the husband. These are women, for God's sake, who spearhead this rubbish. Bring women out to humiliate them, naked. This woman probably has children. They make the children see her this way, And tomorrow we all cry about children cancelling their father's families. Who wouldn't cancel a father's relative who has put their mother through this amount of shame? Nigeria is still quiet. People are even trying as much as possible to find a reasonable part of this act. There's nothing reasonable about it. Even if somebody decides to cheat, nobody deserves to go through this, cheating or not. Cheating has become a common thing, and that is not the greatest problem of our country right now.
Honestly,
cheating is between two people. And if anything must happen, let them deal with it. Sort it the right way. Cheating shouldn't be, it's not an economic problem.
Thank you, Mariam.
It is not a political problem.
Thank you, Mariam.
Nobody is being killed. It is not a crime. If somebody cheats,
thank you so much. We major in minor. So the man that is flogging the woman or parading her, he probably hasn't sorted his family problem, economic problem. He probably hasn't paid his child's school fees. He probably hasn't even gotten food for his family. But he's majoring in a minor problem that doesn't concern him. Somebody else is mad. When he feels his ego. He's pumped up. Yes, we're going to punish you. But you not deal with the real issue.
Yes, I like the fact that Mariam mentioned women. Umuada. In fact, when you're getting married in where I come from, Umuada is the fear of God. You have to be, yes, they threaten you with, I will call Umuada for you. And I saw this play out when I was growing up. Somebody did something, and then it was even the man's fault, but he was tired of the wife. And then he used Umuada. They chased the woman out of the house. She left with barely a wrapper. And they confiscated everything, singing and dancing. They are the ones, I've said it, women are the ones that uphold patriarchy.
For a society,
and we need to tell ourselves the truth as women.
That's why I keep telling Nigerians, for a society to grow, forget the president, for heaven's sake. He's too far away. Your real problem is the local government. That's the real crux of our issue. Because if you change the mentality of the local government, who then they are the ones that do the real re-engineering about social values. Yes. That's the real crux of who we are. Yes. The federal government is so we're so wants to go to Abuja, want to be lawmaker, want to be this. Where the real problem is the grassroots. Yes. Because imagine in these communities where we have real re-education of what is important to us. What kind of society are we trying to what should we stand for? Who should we become? Should we redefine? I'm so happy that the new governor of Anambra, I'm so hopeful. I think I'm the only one that's so hopeful of this Governor Soludo. All of us are the ladies of YourView. Because I believe that Governor Soludo hopefully will begin to change some of these perspectives. Not only him, it's across the country.
Yes. But we need
fresh ideas.
So what I would like the Umuada to do is when things like this happen, when a woman is caught, the Umuada comes and says, we're protecting the women.
Yes, so
you know, the Umuada is no longer the one that will victimize women, but will protect the women and say, no, we will fight and collect every of our property. Yes. What did she buy in this house? We protect it. Do you know, so women must now begin to support women, to defend women.
In action,
it's not about...
Let us redefine Umuada. We must redefine
because at the end of the day, we must support one another to ensure that the system as it is right now doesn't favor us.
Let me take Ose. Ose, are you there?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morayo.
Honestly.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I would like to say, first of all, that the problem of a woman in Nigeria is a woman. Sorry to say.
Know.
If you go to Okigwe today to go and check that village, to see the people who were championing the nakedness of that woman, you will discover that it was women that were doing that thing.
I said the same thing.
If you go to Okigwe, no man in Okigwe will dare naked a woman and watch her naked for no reason in Okigwe. Go there and you will see that it's women that are doing it. They are fellow women. There are people doing it. So I want you to know that the problem of women in Nigeria are women.
We need to
Please know that.
I'll say
a woman does not want to see another woman selling. In fact, you will discover that woman, her fellow women have been looking for a way to disgrace her in that ability.
So yeah, exactly. So I say you're right. You are. I mean, you're entitled to your view, and I think your view is valid in the sense that yes, there are women who are totally probably envying her. Look at how beautiful she looks. You think, oh, this one, what do you think you are? So they are. God don't catch up. But there's also that other angle where women actually want to support each other, but there's fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being ostracized. You know, like, so it is you that went to support her. Okay, all of you now. You know, because we're still dependent on this patriarchy. So we support patriarchy because, listen, if you try not to go against patriarchy, you're going to be at the losing end. We don't have a system like where in the West, where the system itself supports women. So if patriarchy tries to to rear his head, trust me, the system would cut you to size, like you said. So we don't have that yet. So a woman protects another woman. Sometimes you're thinking of the cost. Do I protect my family or not?
Yeah,
go ahead.
But I think we should use this month to talk to each other.
Yeah.
We understand the issue of patriarchy, but we also have another problem, which is the one that we do to each other as women. I was surprised when I was watching an American show like ours, and they were saying they wanted to find out why women don't support women. So it is a global problem.
Yeah.
It is not just about being African and being poor or being uneducated. There's something in the way we're raising women that we look at each other first as competitors instead of collaborators, instead of each other's support system. We need to sit down with each other and have this conversation. What can we do differently going forward? Because I don't want my Ima to look at Elizabeth as a competitor. I want her to look at Elizabeth as a collaborator. My daughter came home the other day. She's in a STEAM club, and they're always creating one thing or the other. And she came back on Friday, and she was telling me how she created this beautiful mirror. I said, I did it because, Mommy, you like decoration, so I wanted this in your house. And when she was telling the story, it was how this girl in her class helped her. Do you know, Mariah, a part of me thought, why, you know, that thought dropped in my head, that why were you not the one helping? I was, why did I have to think that first? For me, it was like, is she better? You know? But then I caught myself, and I'm like, I'm happy that you understand that we are there to help each other. You recognize her strength, and she helped you, and now you're better for it. So we need to start saying that to our children when we talk to each other. They are watching us, how we converse about each other. And that is, I think we'll see that change in mindset concerning supporting each other.
I like that.
We have to wrap up. Want to say something for you?
Yes, I just wanted to say that when we came here, we came with nothing, and we will leave with nothing. If you observe children when they play, and I like the example that you gave, you see how they support each other, help each other. But then, after a while, we start getting into their head. We start, you know, telling them to protect yourself. You must be the best. You must be. And that's why some people have said that this system of somebody must come first in class should not apply anymore, because that's where that competition starts building. There are schools now, like the school my children attend, there's no first, there's no second. They just give you your grades the way it is. Either it's A or B or C, and then you move. So we need to do a lot in terms of, first of all, being aware. And I like the fact that you caught it when it came. You are a person who is self-aware. We need to get to that point where we are self-aware, so that even when those things come in, we catch it and we nip it in the bud, and it helps us phase in and raise our children better.
We have to wrap up. Unfortunately, we can't take any more comments, but I think from all this conversation, what talks to me is the fact that there's a lot of work to be done. You know, we have been lots of people out there, but we're still speaking over our heads of a lot of Nigerians. English. We need to really come down, speak. Even I need to go and learn the proper Pidgin, proper Yoruba, proper Igbo, learn the language, because these are our people. They are Nigerians, you and I. These people that paraded that woman, they are you and I. They are Nigerians. They're not foreigners. You know. You and I, if two of us travel to America today, they're not saying like, oh, this is the poor one, this is the rich. No, they are Nigerians.
Sophisticated one.
So we are the same. So what they did to her is what we should fix. We are going to fix that problem. America's going to fix the problem for us.
Because it represents us too.
Simple. So please, there's a lot of work to be done. Let's really help Nigerians to get more better educated. It's very painful, but we'll continue this month of March. We continue this conversation. We're not stopping. We're on this matter. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.